you, Mr. Chairman and members. Given the shocking escalation in drug overdose-related deaths and drug-related vehicular crashes, I can think of no other public safety matter as urgent as this one. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration cites that by 2013, 32% of all California drivers killed in motor vehicle crashes who were tested positive for legal and/or illegal drugs. We lack the same kind of deterrence for drug driving as we do for drunk driving, yet highway safety hazards and fatalities are increasing with widespread prescription and illicit drug abuse across all demographics. The alarming surge in tragic drug-involved crashes that have occupied the local news here in Sacramento prove my point, including 2 CHP officers within a couple of weeks who suffered massive injuries at the hands of negligent drug-impaired drivers while they were assisting other motorists on the roadside. SB 1462 will simply allow law enforcement to use oral fluid roadside tests as a screening device to detect drivers with active drugs in their system when there is probable cause that an officer suspects suspicious or reckless driving and the driver has already failed field sobriety tests. The oral swab test is a preliminary screening device that can, within 5 minutes, confirm or deny the presence of 6 of the most common drugs of abuse at the time of the traffic stop. This is a minimally invasive test self-administered by the motorist. A blood test is still required for the confirmation of drug impairment according to California Vehicle Code 23612A1B. I and my sponsors, We Save Lives, California Narcotics Officers Association, and the California Police Chiefs Association believe that SB 1462 should not remain on suspense file, as the whole point of the bill is to make it possible for state and local law enforcement agencies to qualify for federal grants for more roadside testing devices. According to the California Highway Patrol, all of their preliminary alcohol screening devices are purchased and always have been through federal grants administered through the Office of Traffic Safety. The same holds true for the oral fluids device. Training costs are estimated to be minor and absorbable. According to the regional line administrator at National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, if they were presented a project from California Office of Traffic Safety to fund oral fluid roadside testing devices on a reasonable pilot basis, it is likely it would be approved. There are 2 test devices that have been found to meet the stringent criteria necessary for accuracy in law enforcement roadside testing. The list price for an analyzer is about $4,500 each. The test kit, the per subject swab list price, is $20.75 each. This is worst-case budgeting pricing, and costs to agencies are negotiable. Prices can be set on the specifics of each agency's needs, so actual prices can be lower. If the test kit usage is high enough, an analyzer could be provided at 0 cost, according to Brian Schaffer of Draeger Technologies. Police departments in Bakersfield, Fullerton, Los Angeles, Sacramento tested oral swabs during 2013 and 14. With assistance from the California Office of Traffic Safety and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. While the analysis cites potentially significant increases in new commitments to state prisons and local jails, the Los Angeles City Attorney's Office decided that impaired driving cases filed using oral fluid technology as evidence are pleading out earlier, rather than cases solely using blood tests. The intent of an oral fluid test is to show recent use by the driver, not to establish impairment. Impairment should be judged by a combination of factors, including officer observations, reason for the stop, etc., in combination with an oral fluid test. The speed of test results from oral fluids allowed them to be available at the time of filing the case, while blood results were still pending at the crime lab. Furthermore, this is not a mandate on any local or state agency. I want to stress that with the efficient roadside analyzer, officers can produce more meaningful impairment assessments at initial contact and get drivers under the influence of drugs off the road or send motorists on their way. This frees the motorists from being unnecessarily burdened with prolonged testing, and it's obviously a savings of agency resources as well. Drug toxicology testing is much more expensive and time-consuming than alcohol testing. While it's true that a positive result will require these lab tests, a negative will end the testing process at the roadside. In closing, the vast majority of drug driving is related to cocaine, pain meds, particularly opioids, sedatives, cannabis, and amphetamines. According to Mothers Against Drunk Driving, over 10 million Americans admitted to driving under the influence of illicit drugs. DUI collisions affect 500,000 Americans, and it costs the U.S. economy more than $60 billion annually. And while this is more of a policy note, I do want to mention that at the request of Senator Leno, who voted aye in Public Safety Committee, I will be amending the bill to include that there is a reasonable suspicion of driver impairment before the test is administered.